Lesson 1: Democratic Structures and Citizenship. Welcome to the foundations of democratic structures and citizenship. Let us start by looking at how democracy functions. In ancient Athens, eligible male citizens practiced direct democracy by voting on laws personally in the assembly. Today, modern states mostly use indirect or representative democracy, where citizens exercise their power mainly through elected legislators and executives. Between elections, citizens stay active through free speech, associations, and sometimes direct tools like referendums, which let the electorate vote on a specific issue. To prevent the abuse of power, modern constitutions use the separation of powers. This divides authority into 3 branches. The legislature is tasked with enacting the laws, the executive implements policy, and an independent judiciary interprets the law, adjudicates disputes fairly, and checks unlawful actions. This creates a system of checks and balances. Citizens also live within multi-level democratic structures. For example, in Malta, governance includes local councils, the national parliament, and supranational institutions like the European Union, which makes rules affecting all member states. There are also international structures like the United Nations, which focus on intergovernmental cooperation. Being part of a democracy involves balancing rights and duties. Rights, such as civil, political, socioeconomic, and cultural rights, protect persons. Duties, on the other hand, bind citizens to respect others and sustain the common good, like obeying just laws. Active citizenship requires more than just holding a passport. It demands informed participation, respect for rights, and the fulfillment of these civic duties.
Lesson 2: Values, Media, and Society. Let us examine the values that shape a democratic society and the vital role of the media within it. In a democracy, civic life often balances individualism, which emphasizes personal liberty and autonomy, with communitarianism, which stresses social bonds and the common good. Fairness in public decision-making requires impartial procedures and treating people with equal moral consideration. This brings us to the difference between equality and equity. While formal equality means identical treatment, equity focuses on fair outcomes, given people's different starting points or needs. Democratic societies are also diverse. Diversity is a social reality that requires inclusion, dialogue, and equal dignity, rather than forced uniformity. In democratic conflicts, tolerance and respect mean allowing peaceful disagreement while protecting everyone's basic human rights, without resorting to violence. A crucial safeguard for these values is a free mass media. Independent media informs the public and holds power to account. When political or economic powers capture newsrooms and censor critical reporting, this democratic function is severely weakened. Today, we must also navigate social media. While it can mobilize citizens, it carries the risk of spreading misinformation rapidly and creating polarizing echo chambers through algorithmic amplification. Media literacy is essential to combat this. Finally, all these dynamics are influenced by globalization. Globalization is the increasing interconnectedness of economies, cultures, information, and politics across borders. It brings both opportunities and challenges, making our understanding of these civic values more important than ever.
Lesson 3: Aesthetics and Art History. We now turn to aesthetics, which is primarily concerned with the description, analysis, form, expression, interpretation, and judgment of art. When we analyze a painting, we look at its form. Formal analysis studies how elements like line, color, composition, and structure are organized, independently of the subject matter. Interpretation goes a step further than mere description. It proposes meanings and significance beyond listing visible facts, arguing for context and effects. The timeline of Western art shows incredible evolution. It begins with primitive art, featuring early human visual expression, like cave images and ritual objects. Next comes classical Greek art, praised for its ideals of harmony, proportion, and the idealized human form. Medieval Western art shifted focus, becoming closely linked to Christian religious themes, churches, and manuscript traditions to teach sacred narratives. The Renaissance period brought a renewed interest in classical antiquity, humanism, and naturalistic representation. Following this was the Baroque style, characterized by intense drama, movement, grandeur, and emotion. Neoclassicism then looked back to classical Greek and Roman ideals of order, clarity, and restrained form, contrasting with the excess of earlier periods. Romanticism reacted against this restraint by emphasizing emotion, imagination, nature, and individual feeling. Finally, modern and postmodern art movements broke with academic conventions. They are most associated with experimentation in form and media, pluralizing styles, and questioning traditional grand narratives. Lesson 4: Art, Society, and Sustainability. In our final lesson, we will explore how art connects with society and how human systems interact with the environment. Art does not exist in a vacuum. It intersects closely with morality by raising ethical questions, depicting moral dilemmas, and shaping values. Works of art can celebrate virtues or expose injustice, inviting judgment and reflection. Similarly, art relates to politics. It can be used to celebrate, criticize, legitimize, or challenge political power and ideas, though it does not replace democratic institutions. True creativity in this field involves generating original ideas and interpretations with skill and purpose, while innovation introduces new techniques or ways of seeing. Both can coexist with tradition. We can see the blending of traditions in Maltese cultural identity. Placed within a Euro-Mediterranean context, Maltese heritage is shaped by rich layers of local history, Mediterranean influences, and broader European cultural exchanges. Finally, we must consider how our society interacts with the environment. Environmental issues are never just about nature alone. They are entangled with political decisions, social practices, economic production, and cultural values. This requires interdisciplinary responses. The standard conceptual anchor for addressing these issues is sustainable development. Sustainable development is defined as development that meets present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. By understanding the deep links between our culture, politics, and environment, we can work toward a more sustainable and equitable future.
Thanks for watching. For free practice questions, study guides, and flashcards, visit exampreprise.com. Good luck on your exam!